When you open InDesign, go to File, select a new document. From the top down, make sure it says Intent to Print. Select number of pages to 1 and deselect facing pages. Under the page size, select Custom, and in this one we're going to make a book cover, and the width is going to be 277 millimeters. And the height is going to be 216 millimeters. Click Add. We'll get book cover in there and click OK. Hopefully this will come out as book cover now. You'll want to allow for a inside margin of, well, we'll leave that for now. We'll leave that for now. And what we're going to do is, actually, we will change the margins. We'll change the margins on all sides to 20 millimeters. And the bottom margins, which we can untick this here, the bottom margin is going to be 25 millimeters. So you can untick that box there and then they'll all be able to change. The bleed's going to be 3 millimeters all around. And then we don't actually need a slug, so just click OK. What we want to be doing here is, if you can't see these in millimeters, just convert the rulers to millimeters. It'll make it a bit easier to follow. So we've got a kind of a book shape right here. We're going to drag this one out to the midpoint, which should be 138.5. And we're going to drag one to 135 millimeters, which you should be able to kind of snap to it. And then another one to 100 and I think 42, 43. 142 should be, yep, there. So we've got those 3 lines, and what this is going to do is just set up our outside edges and a 7 millimeter spine width. So this is going to be our spine for the book down here. This process here is going to be very similar to what you do when you're creating your DVD cover, except you'll have a bigger spine. You'll have to measure that. From the left hand side of the page, drag out another measurement to 115. We're just going to set up some measurements for our document, and also on the other side, except it's going to be 162 on the other side, like that there. So basic proportions are set up. We're going to make sure that we can, we're going to start adding some content now. So what we're going to do is I'm going to place an image into here, but I'm going to actually draw the frame first. So to draw a frame, I'm just going to click the frame tool and click over here. It'll ask me what size I want it to be. So I'm going to make a frame size 95 millimeters in width. The height might vary, but we will change it in a moment, and click OK. Now that's probably way too big. I'm going to move that. It should snap from there to there. And I'll bring that down. So essentially what you want to do is just draw a frame somewhere here down to there, using that left guide there and that right guide there as a margin. Now we're going to go File, Place. Now, sorry, this image is a bit girly. Book cover, Alice in Wonderland. Click Open. It should place it into there. Now it's pretty big, so what we're going to do is click on that, right click, and if you want to find a different image, that's fine. We are just going to work with the Alice in Wonderland text though, so if you want to find a, maybe American McGee's Alice, that's fine. Stroke weight, what am I looking for? Fitting, fill frame proportionally, like that. And I might just make this a little bit bigger here and make that a little bit bigger there, so it all fits in. And then if I hit W, you can see that's kind of centered on the page there. I might bring it down a little bit so it comes down to here. Probably bring it down a little bit more so it just sits at the bottom of the page. Now with the type tool, I'm going to create some type along the top here. If it lets me, there we go. And in here, I'm going to type Alice in, hit enter, Wonderland. I'm going to select Align Center from the top on both of those. And for when I hit the enter key there, I want to actually hit shift enter, not enter. It's just a line break. No, sorry, enter, not shift enter. I do want to make a new paragraph. Alright, so from here, what I'm going to do is change the character style. And I might not have this, but let's see. EB Garamond is the font that I'm looking for. If it's not there, then we'll see what else I've got. Garamond is not the right one. So instead, let's just think, what font will I use? I think I'll just, for the top, I will use the same one that I used for the other one, actually, that I think it starts with C, Cantor. Not Centaur, Cantor. That's it. So, Cantor. And I'm going to turn that up. Now, you can pick a different font if you want, but I will turn this one up. And I'm going to make the text Alice in quite large. I might actually use a different font here. Century Gothic, Century should be fine. There we go, Century. No, Century Gothic. This is an awful tutorial. Century Gothic. There we go, that's quite spaced out. And then this one I'll use the same. Except I'm going to turn that one down. Now what I'm going to need to do with this is space it out. So I want to have this font size a little bit bigger and change the tracking so that the letters fill out that text box. But I don't want it to do that. And then this one here, same deal. I'll turn the font size up, Wonderland, and set that tracking so that it fills that text box. And then I will just turn down the line spacing so that it's close to that there. Alright, so then I will right click on this, fitting, fit frame to content. So I've just got the frame around the text box. So that's looking pretty sharp at the moment. And I'm going to draw a line underneath Wonderland. So, excuse me, from here to here, I'll hold shift and draw it. And I'll go to the stroke panel, turn the weight to 0.35, and I'll make sure the line is solid and black. So when I hit W, I've got a very subtle line under there. In the next video, we'll continue off with adding in some different frames. Actually, I can just do this now. So let's go and type in a text box here. I'll make sure I've got the... And in here, I'll type in Lewis Carroll's Traditional Tale Revisited. Now this is also going to be centered. So we've got paragraph, center that, character, turn the font size up. I'll pick the Garamond font for this one. G, there it is. Garamond for that one. And I might make it bold version of that. No, that looks a bit funny. We'll just go with the normal one. And turn it up a little bit more. So I've got that there, and that's going to come up so it's about the same amount of distance. You can see on the right there, there was a little green thing that appears that shows it's the same distance from here to here. Okay, so there's part of my cover done. There's not much more to the cover, and we can save this now and then we can work on the back cover. So click File and then Save. You can call it Alice. Like I said, you can find a different image. That one's a bit lame. Let's go. I'll just quickly see if I can find a better image. The only thing you really want is to have a white outline around it. So there'll be some, or if I quickly did a Google search, there's probably some inappropriate images there. You can use a different image, but this one here is fine. It was taken from the tutorial website that I'm working on this here. As you can see, something like that would be fine if it had a grey background, but then this stuff here is going to make the cover look odd, and then you've got the costumes at the top, which we don't want. So you might have a hard time finding anything useful. So it might just be best to use the one that I've given here, which has already been created. In the next one, we'll look at creating the cover, and essentially what we're going to be going through, and you can see I'm working off a tutorial here, I'm just putting it into video format for you. The back cover, the blurb, you're getting that done. And then after that, looking at laying out interior pages and making some interesting shapes. So by the time you're done, you should have something like this done, and this here, looking at laying text around shapes. And by the time we've done this, you should know pretty much everything there is to know about laying out a simple design in Illustrator. Something like this here, the text on a path and text around a shape. So you should know pretty much everything there is about laying out a simple layout in Illustrator, and be able to start going into, in InDesign, and be able to start going into Illustrator.